Y'all, this Marilyn Manson stuff's getting pretty messy, ain't it? So Trent Reznor spoke out on his Instagram, and he had a little bit to say, but we all knew that Marilyn Manson and Trent Reznor didn't like each other, even though Trent is the one who founded Marilyn Manson band. Back in the day, they have been feuding for like 20 years. Well, I did not know that years and years ago, at some point, Marilyn Manson claimed that he and Trent Reznor assaulted a woman in the 90s. Now, Rockfeed shared a video. Listen to this clip.
Biography, The Long Hard Road Out of Hell. In his book, Manson claimed that he and Reznor assaulted a woman in the 90s. Reznor denied the claim in his statement. He wrote,
Okay, so why did nobody talk about that when Marilyn Manson wrote that? You want to know why? Because he's a celebrity. He's the goth king. So that's what I am trying to share awareness about. Just because somebody's a celebrity, well-known, rich, famous TikToker, that should not sway you guys from seeing the truth. Marilyn, flat out, whether it's a truth or a lie, he flat out said, I assaulted a woman in the 90s. Oh, well, me and Trent Reznor assaulted a woman in the 90s. And y'all were trying to make me think now he could never abuse anyone. He flat out said, we assaulted a woman in the 90s. What more do you need? Now you have all the victims who are speaking out. Now Trent Reznor is speaking out. I don't understand how these stands, and they're attacking the shit out of me, for real. But baby, y'all ain't going to slow my roll. I'm going to share awareness, and I'm going to keep sharing awareness, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, don't follow me. But the truth will come out like it is right now. Here's the next clip.
I have been vocal over the years about my dislike for Manson as a person, and cut ties with him nearly 25 years ago. As I said at the time, the passage from Manson's memoir is a complete fabrication. I was infuriated and offended back when it came out, and remain so today. Manson called the claims, quote, horrible distortions of reality, adding that his relationships, quote, have always been consensual. He was subsequently dropped by his record label.
Interesting, right? So Marilyn Manson says, oh, well, me and Trent Reznor, we assaulted a woman back in the 90s. Now he says, oh, well, the victims, they're what they're claiming, their claims are distorted. They all consented. And let me make something else clear. When you starve someone, you lock them in a room, then ask for consent, that's not consent. And even that should not be, that's abuse, and it shouldn't be consented. Now, if you want to do BDSM type stuff, baby, go for it. That's fine. But when you're talking starvation and locking up in a room for days, that's not BDSM, baby, that's abuse. That's not BDSM. Starvation, being locked up and held against your will, when you're screaming for your family, that is not BDSM. I don't care who you are. You could be the king of BDSM, and you're not going to tell me that that's what it is. That is abuse. I'm glad that Trent Reznor is speaking out. And yes, over the years, he has kind of talked about his dislike for Marilyn Manson, but nobody has really called out Marilyn Manson in the celebrity Hollywood world. Nobody has ever called out Marilyn Manson. Everybody's always kind of sided with him. Evan is the first one to name him. Now, several other women back in the day filed or made claims, but nothing ever came of it. They weren't heard. Unfortunately, they weren't heard, and they weren't helped. I know Esme hasn't named Manson, but her claims are identical to Evan's. I feel like she's talking about Marilyn Manson. And something else. For everyone who's saying, yeah, but he couldn't have done this because he didn't do it to his ex-wife, Dita Vaughn, and he didn't do it to Rose McGowan. Dita Vaughn and Rose McGowan both said that they had totally different experiences with him. Let me inform you on something. An abuser doesn't always abuse every single person they're with. They can be in a relationship and not abuse a person, then get into another relationship and start abusing someone. An abuser doesn't abuse everyone around them. I don't know why people think this way. it just blows my mind how some of these stands will support someone. They don't even know them. These stands have never lived with Marilyn Manson. They've never sat down and had supper with Marilyn Manson. All they know is the music they grew up listening to. That's it. That's all they know. And the posters they had hanging on their walls and the fantasies rolling in their head over someone they didn't know. So, of course, they're going to support them to the fullest. But you're attacking me for supporting Evan, and you keep telling me, you've never met Evan, you don't know her. You've never lived with Marilyn Manson, you don't know him. We're in the same damn boat here. I support a victim who I think is a victim who I've never met, and you support someone who you've never met, who possibly could be an abuser. It's the same difference. You can't sit here and judge me for supporting Evan, Esme, the two Ashleys, and anyone else who claims Marilyn Manson abused them when you're supporting Marilyn Manson and you've never met him or lived with him or been in a relationship with him. It's ridiculous. I actually had someone tell me that yesterday. You've never met Evan or Esme. How can you support them? How can you support Manson? Well, his ex-wife said he didn't do it to her. That doesn't mean he wouldn't do it to the next one or the one before her. You know, sometimes people don't even realize they've been abused because they think they had consented or they think that's what they signed up for. It's just so annoying. Really, really annoying. I was reading an article that Trent Reznor, where he was talking about where he bought the Tate's old home, what we call the Sharon Tate home, and it was where Sharon Tate was killed by Charles Manson. And Trent Reznor said that he met Sharon Tate's sister, and Sharon Tate's sister said, "Are you trying to exploit my dead sister?" And Trent Reznor said, "No." And he said that he went home that night and he cried because he realized he was making music. And he was living in a home where this woman had died and was brutally murdered. And he realized Charles Manson ain't cool. He's disgusting. He's a killer, an evil killer of innocent people, of a baby and a woman. That's not cool. And Trent Reznor said that he cried. You know, that hit me in the feels because I'm like, exactly, that's what we've been screaming for years. You know, because they were recording music in the Tate home where Sharon Tate and her baby was killed. And for a long time, people were like, that's so cool. You know, you got the murder house. That is not cool. It's just sad. A home is a home. I know, it's just where a home was built. That's how a lot of people see it. A home is a home. But for Sharon Tate's sister, it's not just a home. It's where she lost her sister and her niece or nephew. She lost her family that night. Someone lost a wife and a child. Someone's daughter was murdered there. You know, you have to see the big picture. You know, and Marilyn Manson had the perfect facade. When you put on that bad boy evil act, then people are like, oh, well, he's going to do evil stuff. And that's okay because, you know, he pretended to be evil. Marilyn Manson, that's a facade. Brian Warner is who he is. But whether he's Brian or Marilyn Manson, either way, it doesn't make it okay for him to hurt anyone. Just like it's not okay for anyone to hurt him. And consent does not mean that you can starve someone and beat someone and lock them in a room for days. No. It's just really, it's a messed up situation. I'm glad Trent Reznor spoke out because I had not heard about Marilyn Manson saying that him and Trent Reznor assaulted a woman in the 90s. But for all of you people who've been attacking me and saying Marilyn Manson couldn't have done this, here's your sign, because he flat out said him and Trent Reznor assaulted a woman in the 90s, and it's in his book. Do you need him to come out and make a video saying it? Hell, what more do you need? Yes, Trent Reznor is saying, no, it didn't happen. We don't know because we weren't there. Either way, Marilyn Manson is still claiming it happened. I don't know. Share your thoughts in the comments.